All right, next up, Drew King has got a great question here. Drew asks, how long does it take to carve a slingshot, and what's the easiest way to do it? Well, let's find out. So, got a bit of dogwood here. Dogwoods are my favorite woods to carve a slingshot with. One of the reasons dogwood's so great is that it makes a very symmetrical slingshot fork. So we can see that one right there. That's going to be a dandy of a slingshot. So we've identified the forks. The biggest part of it is actually finding your slingshot. Now we've got lots of videos on how to carve a natural slingshot, how to assess the fork width. We're not going to go into all those things today, but just speeding along. Of course, a saw or some nippers might be really helpful here, but I'm going to go with what I got. So all I'm doing is scoring where I want the slingshot to break off. Because the great thing with dogwood is you don't have to take the bark off to have a good functional slingshot. All right, so now all I need to do is clean these fork tips up. And we're not building a hospital here, we're just making a simple slingshot. So all we're looking to do is take away sharp edges. So that's all I'm doing here, is just giving a little roundness to the fork tip there, because this is where the bands are going to track. Now you can spend a lot of time making these perfect, you can spend a lot of time making them beautiful, but it's not really going to change the shooting characteristics. Basically you just want to make sure it fits your hand well, and it's not going to damage your bands. So a couple of other woods that make nice slingshots, white oak forks, especially the ones that are way up high in the tree. They make really nice slingshots. Any of your rhododendrons or laurels, they oftentimes have really nice forks. But pretty much any tree that makes a fruit or a nut is fair game. There's not many trees out there that you cannot use. You want to make sure the wood is structurally sound. You don't want to use dead wood. It's also nice to use a sharp knife, which I'm not using today. All right, so I've got the slingshot frame now. Granted, this is really small, but I like a small slingshot. It feels good in my hand, oriented correctly for my style. I guess I'll put some bands on it now. A lot of folks have asked questions, can I wrap the bands, because I've got a really tiny slingshot fork here, can I wrap the bands around the fork, or do you fold them? For these, I just like to wrap them. I don't see any problems there. I've never had any issues with the way they shoot. They're just fine. But this is one of the best ways to introduce people to the sport, because you can see right here that with just a set of bands and a pocket knife, and unless you're in a desert, you've probably got access to trees, you can have a usable slingshot really, really quickly. And we are not far at all away from finishing this one up. So to answer your question, what's the best one? Let me read your question to you again. How long does it take to carve a natural slingshot, and what's the easiest way to do it? Well, I think the easiest way to do it is to find one that's already made on the tree like we've done here. And how long it takes, I suppose we'll have a little timer up here for you. But we're coming up on shooting ready. And one more pass here with our wraps. All right. And there we have a slingshot that's ready to go. It doesn't have to be any fancier than that. All a slingshot is 2 prongs that'll hold the bands, and it's the latex and the projectile that are the real meat and potatoes, the heart and soul of the slingshot. So there you have it. That's how easy it is to make a natural slingshot, and just how quick it can be done, and how you don't have to really sweat the details. We've got a functional shooter right here. So thanks for that question. Keep them coming.